because we know our frontline associates are more likely to listen to Durrell than Frank Yiannas. And if you could roll the clip. Just press right there. That'll work.
Not only does Walmart have great prices, but we're serving up safe and affordable food. And I love food. You love food? I love food. We like to keep our customers happy and healthy by keeping our cold foods cold and our hot foods hot. That's hot. We keep it cold and we keep it hot for everyone's safety. Hey, it's cold back here. Ooh, ice cream. Food safety high five. It begins with you.
What's that? We just started, we're paying him a lot. He was really good, influential, charismatic, principal homophily, folks. Really take time thinking about who's going to deliver your message and who's going to be believable and be able to influence others. And it changes around the world. So for example, we're a global company. Do you think I could use Durrell in China? No. Corporate America, I see this all the time. For efficiency and for cost saving, we want to create one video and push it out all over the world. You can do that, but do you think it's working? No. And so remember the principle of homophily. Third tool I want you to add to your toolbox is this concept of making food safety the social norm. Does everybody know what the social norm is? It's kind of the norm or expected behaviors of a social group, right? What's a social norm? Let me give you a couple of behavioral science studies that really prove this concept is true. The pointing and docking experiment, if you took Psychology 101, you got this experiment in psychology. If you remember, if you put one person standing on a street corner looking up, and you count how many people look up when they walk by, how many will? Not a lot. But the more people you put on that street corner looking up, and then you count the number of people that look up as they walk by, what happens? It rises dramatically. So eventually you got a big street corner full of people looking up at absolutely nothing. And why is that? Because people do what other people do. We do. Whether you want, you say, no, not me. We all are influenced by others. Here's a more troubling one. And it has to do with conformity. You probably took this in Psych 101. This is the way this research went. It was basically a class. All of the students in the class, except for one, were in on the research, and you had the professor who was in on the research. And the professor would go up to the class, draw a line on the chalkboard of Exhibit 1, then draw Exhibit A, B, C. And the professor would go around to the students. At first, the students that were in on the experiment, and he or she would say, which line is equal to Exhibit 1? A, B, or C? And the first student would say A, the second student would be B. While you got to the research student that didn't know they were part of the exam, they would say A, and you would move on. Did this a couple times till they came around, drew a new set of lines, different dimensions, and the professor said, which line is equal in length to Exhibit 1? When they go around the class this time, the first student who's in on the research says, it's line B. The second student who's in on the research says, it's line B. The person that doesn't know what's going on at this point is probably usually rubbing their eyes and saying, what's going on here? Because it doesn't look like it's B, but everybody else is saying it's B. What do you think happens when you get to that research subject? They'll say B. Alarmingly, 1/3 of the time, they actually said B. And it's this principle of conformity. You might be laughing at it, but behavioral scientists believe it's a way, and I think this is going to become even more powerful in future years, which is we are being bombarded with information and signals and noise. And we use these social norms as shortcuts to make decisions. Perfect example. When you get on a website and you're going to buy a product, does it influence you if it has 5 stars versus 3 stars? Yeah. Why is that? Well, they can't all be wrong, right? If they're all saying it's a 5, it's probably a 5. I want to buy this one and not the one rated with 2 stars. And so the principle of social norm is powerful. The question is, how can we use it to influence human behavior? Let me show you an example of I don't know how many, I used to love the television show Candid Camera. Go to that far right web browser. Far right, right there. Let's watch this video.
The gentleman in the elevator now is a candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with the white shirt, the lady with the trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall.
It gets better.
Now we try it once again. Here's the candid subject. Here comes the candid camera staff, 3 of them at least. And this man has apparently been in groups before. With his hat on in the elevator. First he makes a full turn to the rear and Charlie closes the door. A moment later, we'll open the door, everybody's changed positions. Now we'll see if we can use group pressure for some good. Now, in a moment, on Charlie's signal, everybody turns forward. Notice they take off their hats. And now, do you think we could reverse the procedure? Watch.
It's funny, it makes the point, but that's the principle of social norm. And so you want that one employee that's in the elevator to be influenced by all the folks that are doing food safety the right way, that you employ, right? And you might say, okay, Frank, that's funny, but does it really work in occupational safety and health settings? Here's a study, a fairly recent study, where some researchers wanted to know that, just for that. What they did is they created 4 separate videos around a training function. They wanted to see if this principle of social norm applied in the workplace. And so the video was all wordless. There were no words in the video, but they conducted 4 different video clips. And in the video, they had employees wear hearing protection and operate a noisy piece of X-ray equipment. In the first video that they created, none of the employees wore the hearing protection. They just went up and started operating the equipment. 3 employees in the video. In the second video, 1 of 3 employees in the video that showed how to do it, again, no words, put on hearing protection. In the third video, 2 of 3 employees put on the hearing protection. And the fourth video that they created, all 3 employees that they observed or witnessed using the equipment put on hearing protection. They then assigned new employees into one of these 4 groups. They didn't give them any instructions, but they walked them into a room. There was the X-ray equipment. There was a pair of blue hearing protection devices sitting near the equipment. And what do you think happened?